right, hello everybody. My name is Morgan Woolf, and I am with Turtle Haus. And Turtle Haus is a snack company oriented at making unique and social almond snacks. Our first product are Turtle Haus soft shell almonds, and these are almonds that still have the shell on, and so you can enjoy them the same way you would, say, like a pistachio. And this is a great snack to enjoy with people, friends. You can have conversations, argue. If you don't have friends, you can go out and make friends, have this snack with them. For a little bit, I'm going to tell you about sort of my upbringing and why I've come to Turtle Haus. Turtle Haus itself is named after a house called the Turtle Haus in Davis, California. It's a food-oriented housing cooperative that I lived in for a few years. And during my last year there, I built and managed an illegal speakeasy in the basement. And it was my first real experience in food entrepreneurship. I was hooked. But the other part, the almond part, comes from my upbringing. I grew up in the mecca of culture, the California's own vacation getaway, Fresno. And during my time in Fresno, when my friends were working at smoothie chains or making mistakes, I was out on the farm. I did irrigation for a few almond companies, and while I was out there, I realized that almond varieties are sort of like Thomas Kinkade paintings. They all look the same. But upon closer inspection, they're nuanced and interesting, all very unique. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about why my product is different than what's currently out there. It's different because there's not really anything out there. The bigger nut guys haven't touched what I'm doing yet, which is very exciting. And on top of that, we do it a little bit different. We actually brine the entire thing. So rather than putting seasoning on and letting it go, we actually kettle brine it and then dry roast it. And on top of that, we're non-GMO, we're vegan, we're vertically integrated, gluten-free, paleo, no sugar, no oil, which is all great. But really what's the crown jewel, what really separates this from any other almond product out there, is the fact that we are the first almond company committed to using only varieties of almonds which are non-reliant on Honey Bee Pollinators. And this is huge in the industry with the largest demand on honeybees, and a huge concern, especially with colony collapse disorder. And so being the first to do this, is something that I put a lot of pride in and is really the reason why I'm behind this company. I think it's something that's been more and more resonating with customers, and so we've been really excited about that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about who are my target demographic. Right now, it's oriented towards millennials and people sort of, I guess, in the 45, 55 age range. Actually, the repeat customers are sort of in that age range, and they're mostly buying it for events, so extremely, extremely large amounts. And I do stress, I do put pistachio snackers on there because, honestly, for me, I'm not competing against other almond companies. I'm taking on Big Pistachio. So as we all know, every food entrepreneur knows that exposure is sort of like a watch thief. It takes time. Don't worry, it was good. Just putting it on a shelf is pretty hard because most people haven't seen an in-shell almond before. And so we're actually going through different channels, including some pretty well-known breweries. We're actually we're in a few breweries in the San Francisco area, in Chico, and we're about to launch in our first ever stadium in lieu of peanuts. And so we're excited about this. It's a big step for us. And it's also a big step to hopefully crack into the $10 billion snack nut industry. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'll let you guys just take it from there.
I ate the shell. Is that okay?
Yes, you are fine. You have a little bit more fiber in your system.
Right on.
Pardon?
Right on.
Okay, perfect.
I ate the shell also.
You have a little bit more fiber in your system.
You are hilarious, and actually, in all seriousness, like you need to do like viral videos or, you know, like Dollar Shave Club type stuff because you're really, really funny, and that's a huge part of this. Well, almonds traditionally are pretty expensive. Like, what's your gross margin on these, and what do you sell the package for?
So because this variety isn't taking off yet, because a lot of companies that use almonds have certain specs for certain varieties, I actually spend less because of the variety, and then even less because it's still in the shell. So like right now, my retail price for a bag is $6, and you know I'm able to make it myself for about $3.
Is there a proprietary process to the dry roast and trying to get the shell so it's partially open so you don't eat it?
No, I mean, I individually open up each shell myself. No, that's not true. So it's actually the variety itself is the reason behind the shell. So the variety itself actually is softer. So there's nothing proprietary.
They're silent. You like silence them. Anyone have some feedback on the taste, on the product?
I think you have to tell people they shouldn't eat the shell.
Yeah. Actually, so that has been my biggest chunk of feedback regarding my packaging so far, has been that you should have, and my next iteration of packaging will actually have hands showing that, like, oh, this is how you open it. Because even though it does say easy to open, I understand that could be confusing. Like, it could be just before the bag.
Questions from the audience? No.
That one took a while to get everyone to understand that. Yeah. All right, do we have one last question? Feedback, thoughts?
I think we found America's next great comedian right here. Huh?
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
on that, I think we'll let you end it on a high note, on a joke. So thank you so much, Morgan.